Anyway, I'm Sheri Braithwaite, and just to tell you, some who don't know or maybe new to the group, I am the facilitator of Thriving Singles Community. It is just a group of middle-aged Christian singles and influencers, the people who want to be, who are interested in personal development, and then those who teach that kind of stuff. I want it to be very personable. I'm also very careful. So this is the reason why, Corey, I was feeling like it may be a personal need to interview you about this, is because I have this community of people that want to stay safe, right? That's why, for my interest, I want to be able to protect my group as well, with people that come in and then teach them for themselves also what they should look for. So anyway, Corey is a special agent for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. My first question is, how do we know that you're the real Corey Hubbert? How do we know that you're not a scammer?
Well, that's really good to know. Well, I mean, I do have a couple of
You have your ID?
I have some media presence. I don't have my ID with me right now. It's behind me. It's on my table, but yeah, I could show my credentials, but a couple of things you could do. I mean, you could call headquarters, the FBI headquarters, and ask them if I'm a special agent.
Okay.
You can go to LinkedIn and look at my LinkedIn professional profile. So there I'm overt and I'm open about my job, and I have all the information about my career on LinkedIn. So that's another place. And if you see a picture that looks like me, I think the picture is without a beard. So we have to draw in a beard to see how I look. You can also go to Instagram and Facebook and just kind of look at profiles. And then one thing that's very important about profiles is, and this is a double-edged sword. So you men and women out there that don't use Facebook very much, it looks suspicious. So you can go look at my Facebook wall and go back in history and go, wow, this goes back, 15 years. And you can see, when Corey had hair and his kids were really small.
Yeah.
And then you kind of see that, wow, Corey, this is really hard to make up a fake profile with like children that are aging and Corey's aging and, that kind of stuff. So when I get a friend request, the first thing I do is look at the profile.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go through and I'm like, there's only like 4 posts.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's flowers and a guy riding a bike and like a sunset. I'm like, now that's very suspicious. Like, where are the people? Like, where are the pictures of the person who's friend requesting me? So like I said, it's a double-edged sword. So if you're like not a very good Facebook user, you don't post a lot of pictures, but you're jumping on Facebook because you'd like to meet Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, and your profile looks like it's got 5 posts and that's it, and it's just ridiculous posts or little memes, then yeah, I mean, that would seem suspicious to me.
Yes, I do consider that, but I also consider the fact that, like, for my personal instance, there was a time when I was scammed and money stolen from my account and whatever on my Facebook page. So and then also some of my friends were worried about someone that got into my friends and was doing weird things. So I actually unfriended everyone for their safety, and then to get rid of this guy and block him and whatever, or woman, whoever it was. But I started over completely. I actually might have even deleted all my pictures and all my stories. And so if someone were to search mine, deep dive in, they would probably find, I think it's been less than 2 years that I've been doing it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. So that I consider that too, that there might be someone like that had to start a new profile. But yeah, so we can tell that you're the real Corey Hubbert because you sound like you know what you're talking about. We believe that it's you. But then some have said, I think that, Celeste said it's faux Corey. She said that. These hecklers, you've got hecklers.
Oh yeah, I like to heckle. That's okay. I like it.
To start off, what are the kinds of things that these cyber criminals are doing? I know stealing money. I have a handful.
Yeah, most of it's financial. Like it's financially motivated fraud. So, so if a guy hacks, I mean, he's going to hack for number one reason people hack is to find financial reasons to, it's financial reasons. So if they hack a company, they're going to try to install ransomware. Ransomware is software that goes and grabs all the important files on computers and encrypts them. And then they present you with a screen that says, to unlock your files, you have to pay. That's what they call it, ransomware. So they're holding your files for ransom, and then you have to pay using crypto, and then they release them. Some major cities have been hit with this, and they had to pay millions in crypto to get the key to unlock all the files. That's the big crime wave, is like the whole ransomware stuff. We also see a lot of what we call business email compromises. That's like the next level down. We'll see this with big companies all the way down to like you and I. And the big companies, what they'll do is they'll compromise an email account, or they'll spoof an email account or an email address that looks very similar. So maybe it's Corey Hubbert, but the O's are all zeros, right? So they'll change it up, and so it looks like Corey and it looks like my email, but it's a different guy, and he's changed like the O's to zeros. And your eye doesn't quite catch that, right?
Yeah.
So they'll send you an email and they'll say, hey, I've changed our banking instructions. That big shipment from Hong Kong that's coming in, I need you to wire the money to a different account. And so that's called a business email compromise. And that's done through trickery, and it's done through, convincing the person that you are the vice president of the company, or that you are, somebody important in the company. And normally the lower peons that are handling all the financial transactions are like, oh my gosh, the president of the company, he's really upset that this shipment's late, and he wants the payment done right now, and I better get it done now. And he's giving me these shipping instructions, and you end up wiring money to a bad guy. So, and then like you and I fall into that trap when we're selling houses. So like, say I sell my house and I want the proceeds from my house. So I made some money on my house and I want the proceeds wired to me. What'll happen is somebody will see that there's a transaction going on between like the real estate agent and the person selling the house, the person buying the house, and they'll insert themselves in some of that traffic with a fake email account, and they'll say, hey, it's Corey. My bank's not able to receive the money, so I've opened up another account. Can you wire it to this money, and wire it to my account? And then people just they just trust email. They just trust this whole communication process, and they just go and do it without any phone calls. Yeah. And then my proceeds get wired to somebody in Mexico or Hong Kong or Nigeria. And trying to get that money back could be very, very, very troublesome.
What do you tell people about what to look for? Obviously, they need to know that who they're communicating with. Most people probably won't call.
I think for me, I'm always going to ask to have a phone call. Like if somebody calls and says, wire me money, I'm going to make a phone call. I'll be like, I'll text back, call me. If they don't call me, then I'm not going to give you any money. So, and usually it's, if somebody sends you an email, like say somebody sends me an email file, and I'm like, why did they get this attachment from Sheri? I'm going to text you and say, did you send me an attachment? And you'll say, yeah, it's the questions for the podcast. I wanted you to read through them. I'm like, okay, now I've established that you did send me a file, and now I'm going to open it. I feel like you're not a hacker who's saying open a file and it's full of malware. So
yes, I think that's actually a practice that I have gotten into with what I do. I will usually send a text to someone that says, I just sent you an email or whatever. So I think that's good too, to let people know.
It's like verbal two-factor authentication.
Yeah, it's true. And I didn't even think about that, but it's true. That does help for sure, people to know that they can trust. So I wanted to share my screen. You have something too. These three men, and there are these other two men, Frank and Winston are twins, and Devin and Frank and Alan are triplets. So they have these pictures, they steal these pictures, and create these profiles. And then they friend all these women. So here's my take on it, or my feeling on it, is that I don't feel like they are hurting me unless they ask me for something, and when I don't want to give it, I'm not gonna give them money. And I just don't know that it hurts to have them as my friend until I find that they're a scammer, and I'll unfriend them or whatever. But What are your thoughts on that? Do you think I think if I know for sure, I'm not going to friend them, or I always block them when I realize that. Maybe you can give us some tips on how to for Facebook socializing. How can what are some things we can?
So it's interesting. It's interesting what you can. There's a couple of things you can do. So like that, you can see there's similar pictures, and a lot of times the criminals are very lazy and they want things easy. So once they find a picture that works, like that, when they create a profile with a certain guy's picture, and these are pictures that they get off the internet, they then, if it works, they're going to use it on other profiles, and they're just hoping that you guys won't create that collage of the same guy with different names, right? So yeah, they're just going to hope that
with all my
they
friends,
don't care, and they don't really care if they get caught, because they're casting their net like wide out there. And you know, if a few people catch on to them, who cares? They've got thousands of other women out there they might dupe into friend requesting them or accepting their friend request. And the idea is that they were trying to find a picture that's not grossly obnoxious, like, oh my gosh, there's no way that model, that picture they just took off of like the GQ magazine cover, and there's no way that's a real picture. Like they're trying to find real pictures out there to try to make like a real profile.
Yeah.
So
now that I'm finding all these scammers, is that I actually just tell them, and I want to know that you're not going to waste my time. Yeah. So would you be willing to share a selfie or a video? I don't know if that's weird.
I would do a video. I would do a voice call, and then maybe I would ask them up front. So I've done this where I've accepted a friend request, and like on Facebook, and then somebody will say hi. But they do something a little bit more kind of, they'll say, hi, how you doing? You know, thanks for friend requesting me. I saw your profile, whatever. They speak more than just hi. And I think that another clue is when you see the hi, I picture like this big call center where they got screens up and they're over here going, hi, 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 right? And they're just trying to see which woman or man gets hooked, and then he's like, hey, I got one. And then they all cuddle around the monitor. All right, let's reel him in.
The next day we want to friend you.
Ask him what he's wearing.
Oh my gosh.
Community is important. I think if you feel like this person is like, a threat, and he may have been, it's good to expose them.
Yeah. And I did on my group, I sent a message to, I think there was about 10 of us that were my mutual friends with Winston. And I said, guys, he's a phony. And they picked up on, I told them reasons why, and they told me reasons why they thought so too. So that's helpful. Anyway,
yes,
I've got your back, girls, ladies. I know if I check one and you're my mutual friend with them, I'm going to let you know. I can open up to everyone else to ask more questions, but is there more that you wanted to say from what we've been talking about?
I'm going to post a link for everybody. It's called fishingbox.com. Okay. And you can do a fishing training and then take a fishing test, or take the test and see how well you do on your own. If you suck at detecting phishing scams, then you can do the training. But I think it's important that everybody kind of learn some of these tricks of the trade.
Oh yeah.
For phishing. And they might be pretty easy at the beginning, but like work makes them hard. Like work makes them super tricky. Like they'll say, hey, you're running late for the meeting you're supposed to be in. Here's the Zoom link. And we don't even use Zoom at work, but it catches people because they're like, oh, Zoom. And then they click on the link and they're like, you failed.
Oh my gosh. I love that. That's very smart to give those little tests. I think we should give our group some tests. So I'm gonna create a profile. I'm gonna test you guys to see if, no, I'm not going to just say, I'm not even going to say that. Okay, Heather, do you still have a question, or did you forget it now that we've talked so long after?
No. Best way to help teenagers be safe online?
Oh, be safe online. You're just gonna have to educate them. You're just gonna have to say, don't trust people. You don't know who's on the other side of that screen. Make sure you vet them. Talk to people, like we were saying, if you want to get to know somebody online, you want to talk to them face to face, either on FaceTime, face to face, not actual face to face. But you're just gonna have to educate them that it's just a wild, wild west out there, and they got to be careful. They can't trust everything they do.
Awesome, you guys. Thanks for joining.
Oh, thank you guys.
Have a good night.
See everybody.
Good luck out there. Be safe out there.
All
Yes.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.